Hi, hello to all viewers. This is Bala from gangboard.com. Before entering into the today's session video, let's discuss about the previous session video. So in the previous session video, we discussed about the Microsoft Dynamics AX. In that, we discussed about introduction to Microsoft Dynamics AX, then scope, then roles and responsibilities, and how to use the Microsoft Dynamics AX, as well as we discuss about the how the Microsoft Dynamics used in the software industry, as well as in the salary point of view, how you can earn, as well as the revenue of the companies. Everything we discussed in the last previous session video, right? So if you missed the last previous session video, no problem, don't worry. In the YouTube channel below that, I will give the link. You just click the link and you can see the previous session video. So okay, then fine. So let's jump into the today's session video. So in the today's session video, what are the agendas? I will tell one by one, and we can see the today's session video. So like the first one will be tables, then second one will be the maps, third one will be the views, and fourth one will be the security, and fifth one will be the Microsoft Dynamics tables, structures and components, and sixth one will be the how to create the table in the Microsoft Dynamics AX. So don't miss any part of the video, because most part of the videos contains interview questions and answers. These interview questions and answers will be given by the expert, experienced trainers. Those are all working in the industries, more than 10-year experience in the industries. That professionals only will giving the sessions. So don't miss the video. It will be helpful for you how to crack the interview in the technical aspects.
So it is showing tomorrow is the last date for GoToMeeting.
It is showing? Okay, I'll call them and I'll inform
Yeah,
to
it is
create
showing
new
the
account.
time will expire tomorrow.
Okay. So yesterday you understood view, right? How to create view.
Yeah, view I understood.
Okay. Before that, I will explain how to create queries and other stuff. Then I will give you. You can practice. Okay.
Okay.
So we have something called license code. So what this license code and this security key, configuration key, license code are dependent on each other. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So what this configuration key will do is, so
Mm-hmm.
when I create, first is we have a license code. So I need to have to create a new license code. I will be getting, I have to right click the license code and new license code. When this is created, right? So you have to uh, create a license code using the group on what you are creating, like on the system or any particular module in
Okay.
the sense these things, the front end, whatever you see it on UI, right? Those are
Okay.
modules on what you are creating a license code. So what basically this license code will do is, so on what group you select here, so once
Uh-huh.
on any of your partner or any language or any
Okay.
access, you will mention here. Once you give this,
Mm-hmm.
okay, once you create a license code on
Mm-hmm.
specific group, then the next step is to create a configuration key. So come here
Okay.
and create new configuration, and whatever license code you have created previously, right? That license code you will give it in the configuration key. So this
Okay.
configuration key, where we will use is in on tables, on forms, there is a property called configuration key.
Okay.
See here, you can see here configuration key. So whatever you created there, configuration key, you will attach here. What is the purpose of creating the license code and configuration key is, see, when you open the UI, if you want to hide some forms for particular partner or particular
Okay.
user, then this can be
Okay.
done using configuration key. So when you give that configuration key for that particular table and particular forms, only the user who is having the configuration key, those user can see this form. And here you can see these buttons, right? These are called action pin buttons. So you can also hide these buttons based on the configuration keys. It will basically, it will enable the forms or disable, or it will enable or disable the action pin buttons on the form. For that purpose, we will create a configuration key. To create configuration key, you need to have the license code.
License code.
And
Okay.
yeah, and once you create the license code, you will attach that license code in configuration.
Configuration.
Okay, and this configuration key you will use it on tables and forms.
Okay.
Okay.
So once we create the configuration key, we need to drag and drop it in the table.
No, no drag, no drag. There is a
Okay.
property, okay? There is a
Mhm.
property called configuration key. You have to set that
Okay.
property.
Okay. So in the property of the table, in which
You
table we
have to
need to
set
add the configuration, we just need to select in
You have
property
to,
table.
yeah, yeah. You have to
Okay.
select it. Okay.
Okay.
So you understood, right? What is
Mhm.
license code? What is configuration key? Then for any table, there are few
Mhm.
important properties which will be asked for you in interviews also. You know, table name is a name for the table,
Name.
and
Okay.
these name, okay, name which you are giving for the table. So idea
Okay.
is this is generated by the system. Okay,
Okay.
okay. As soon as you create any new table, this ID will get generated. Okay, for each
Okay.
particular table. That is called table ID. So label is nothing but the caption, whatever you give it for the form your table.
Okay.
Then form reference means if you open any form, here you can see the blue link one, the
Mhm.
blue link. So
Mhm.
when you click this link, some other forms will open. This it can open either through the method view detail method which you will write on the particular form, or through this property form reference. So when you give form reference, so whatever reference you have given for this particular table, okay, and when you click the unique index, okay, unique index which you have created on this particular table, okay,
Okay.
when you click that, when you add a form for this particular table, and when you click a unique index of that table, then the reference form whatever you attach will get open. Okay, when see now when I click this one, some form is opening, right? That will
Mhm.
open through this form reference property.
Okay. See, what is
List
this
page
form?
form is nothing but the UI whatever you are seeing on the screen, right?
Mhm.
So when you go for any modules, whatever the options or their notes or sub notes are there, when you click this one, there will be a window which opens. Those are called forms
Okay.
in AX. Okay. So and the data whatever yours that I will explain later how to create form, all that those things. See the data whatever is storing here, right? This
Mhm.
will be coming from the table. You created tables, right? So this
Yeah.
those tables will store the data,
Okay.
and that table will be attached to the form. For
Okay.
how to create form, how to attach data, so I will show it further. Okay, that is the form referencement. It will open some form. List page reference means list page is also a kind of form. So when you give the that list page form, then
Mhm.
those list pages will get open. This reference, all these things means when you are referring some forms when you click on the
Okay.
this button. not button, this record. So report reference means you will be there will be a concept of reports. So whatever report you give, that report will get opened. Okay, and we have something called title field 1 and title field 2. When you open the form, right, any of the form,
Mhm.
so here this is the caption, whatever you see it on the top of the form, right? This is also one kind of form. So on top of the form you can, this is the caption for the form. So apart from this caption,
Mhm.
you can also add some field names like, see here on top of the form, see, this is the caption for the form, this purchase order,
Yeah.
whatever you're seeing, right, that is a caption. Here you can see the purchase order id. This id is system, when you create a new purchase order, right, this id will get
Mhm.
generated. So that id
Okay.
will generate in the this one here, it will generate, okay, in this grid it will generate the id. But if you give, if you set this property like title field 1 and title field 2, whatever
Mhm.
fields which is present in this form, right, so that
Mhm.
will be coming next to the caption.
Okay.
It is a title for your page. When you select this particular record and open the form, that particular id and that name will come.
Okay.
So next to the caption, if you want to display anything, any field, whatever is
Okay.
present in your table on the form, then you will set title field 1 and title field 2.
Okay.
Okay. See, when you click any of the property, here you can see this one. This is called help text. That means it will give you some information about this property. So if you
Okay.
click this one, it will tell you field used in the title on forms.
Okay.
Okay. So and we have table type. Table type means what kind of table it is, whether it is
Okay.
a regular table, in memory, and temptb. What are the difference between these three types is, regular table means it will store the data regularly,
Okay.
permanently it will store the data. See, whenever we open the table, that data will be present all the time. So whatever tables we create on use for forms, right? Those are all regular tables. That means every
Regular.
time the data will be stored in that particular table. So we have some other other types called in memory and temptb. These two types will be used while developing the report. Okay, why we use this kind of this table type in reports means, when we develop reports, right, so
Mhm.
uh, in reports you can see it on the reports node. Okay, these are
Okay.
all the reports. When we open any of the report, then I will click OK. The data, whatever you're seeing, this is report. This not every report looks like this, but it is similar to this. So whatever you're seeing the data, right? So what it will do, if you use the table type as tempdb or in memory, at the runtime when you are running the report, at
Mm-hmm.
runtime it will just insert the data into the temp table and it will
Okay.
display on the report. As soon
Okay.
as you close this report, right, the data will be eliminated. Means it will clear the data. So I mean to say it will store the data temporarily. This tempdb and in memory will store the data temporarily. At runtime, it will insert the data. As soon as you close the form, it will clear the data. So for that purpose, for reports, because report means it will be having more number of data, and the
Okay.
clients has to run reports for monthly. They want reports monthly wise, all these things. So for that reason, for uh, reporting purpose, we will use in memory and tempdb table type. So again, what are the difference between in-memory and tempdb is, so if you use tempdb, then you can use it in coding, like you know select query, right?
Mm-hmm.
Select table name. So you can you can add this temp table type table in your code. Like you can select those table using the norm how you will write queries for normal table, so you can
Okay.
do the same way for temp db tables also. But if you cannot use in-memory table when you are writing the query, okay, and you cannot apply security for temp db. You can apply security for temp db, but not for in-memory.
Mm.
And tempdb will be used for when you're running the report where you have a data which is like 5000, all this thing, 1000 to 5000, you can use tempdb. Okay, when you have larger data, then you have to use in memory. Okay, and the tempdb will store, it will store it will store the data temporarily. Okay, but in memory, even though the data is not present in ax tables, like if I will show you some tempdb. This is tempdb. When you open this table, there will be no data. Okay,
Okay.
if you select any of the in memory table also, say similar to tempdb, there will be no data in memory also. But
Okay.
in memory means the name itself will tell you, right? In memory means the data will be stored in ax database. There will
Okay.
be a reporting database for ax, there it will be stored. Okay, that is the difference between tempdb and in memory. In interview they will ask this one, what are the different table type properties.
Okay.
Okay, and we have something
So
called table.
usually,
Hmm.
when we are creating a new table, we need to give regular or temp table.
No, when you are using the table for reporting purpose, you have to
Okay.
give tempdb. When you are creating the table for your form, to develop
Okay.
a form, then you have to give
Okay.
regular table.
Okay.
Okay. So the next property is table contents. Table contents will tell you what kind of data you are storing in this particular table. So we have something called base data, default data, base plus default data. Whether the table is storing the base data, that means main data, or you are storing the default data in your table, this property will tell you those content of the table. Okay,
Okay.
and system table means whether you want to set this table as a system table or not. So if you say yes, then it will act as a system table. If you say no, it will be a normal table. Okay, then configuration key, I have told you that time
Hmm.
previously, so that is a configuration key. Security key means, so you are providing the, you will create the security key here.
Okay.
Not here. Actually, that will come in security roles. There is
Okay.
something called security. Okay, when you
Hmm.
create here, that key will reflect here also. That concept is different. The security means what it will do is, so there are two kinds of security. One is data level record level security, and system level security, object level security. So if you want to hide any data, or if
Okay.
from the user for performing. So if I open this form, I can delete the record, I can edit the
Okay.
record, I have full rights for doing anything on this form. If you want
Okay.
to limit the access from deleting or from editing, then you will
Okay.
create a security role in order to block the access. Okay, that is security key. Configuration key means you will not allow him to view the form, means you
Okay.
will not allow him to see that form. That is configuration key.
Configuration. So if when we are giving security key means we are creating some password kind of thing or
Some roles that we call it as roles. Roles means, like if any user open this form, then he should
okay.
not be able to delete this form, delete any
Okay.
record in this form, or
Okay.
he can only view the form. If he is not, he cannot be able to edit the form. Those are called
Okay.
securities. Means we are
Okay.
giving security for deleting the record or editing the record.
Okay.
Configuration means you will not allow him to
View
see
also.
this form only. See this
Okay.
form only. You will disable the form.
Mhm.
That is set configuration. Then we have something called visible. Whether you want to um, we make this table visible around, that is the one. And we have authorization. This is a standard one, we cannot do anything. Authorization means whether you have got AOS authorization for this table or not, that will tell you that. And we have one more property called cache lookup. This is also important, they will ask you in interviews. Like cache lookup means, cache means storage, like how
Yeah.
you are catching and clearing the data. That is called cache lookup. Cache lookup, what it will do is, we have two kind of cache lookup. One is single level cache lookup, and
Mhm.
multi record, single record cache lookup, and multi record cache lookup. So
Mhm.
not in TTS, found and empty. These are all single level
Okay.
caching. Okay, entire table is entire record
Multi-level.
caching. Yeah. So what this cache lookup will do is, so
Mhm.
when you are doing any transaction between the server and the database, right? It will
Okay.
tell you how you are catching the record. There is, when you view the data on form, okay, the
Okay.
server has to communicate. But there is a communication between client, server, and the database. This is called
Okay.
one trip. So when you want
Okay.
to view some data on UIMs, there will be a trip which will go from server to the database. So when the trip happens, so how you want to cache the data, that is what this property will define. Not in TTS means whenever the transaction has not begin, means completed. Whenever the transaction is not started, then you
Okay.
cache this record. That time you will use this property. Found means when there is a transaction, that time you cache the record.
Okay.
Then we have something called found and empty. Found and empty means you will cache the record when there
Mhm.
is a transaction, and after
Mhm.
caching you will empty the record. Okay, that
Okay.
is found and empty. Entire
Okay.
table cache means whenever the transaction happens, so the entire records whatever present in the table, it will cache the data. Okay,
Okay.
so then created rec ID index means, so you have rec ID, right?
Mhm.
Which is created, which is a system generated one. When you
System
set
generated.
this as yes, okay.
Mhm.
When you set this as yes, then a rec ID is created as the index in database level.
Okay.
Okay, and we have something called save data per company. That means whatever data is present in this particular, how we will define the company is, see, this is the legal entity, which is nothing but we have companies. Okay, we
Okay.
have different companies. So when we are changing the company, the data also in table level will get changed. So if you
Okay.
say this save data per company, yes, then it will save those records for that particular company. How the
Okay.
system will identify, how when we change this company on front end, right, data also will get changed. How the system will identify those company is, there is one field called system generated field called which is there is a field called data area ID. Okay, this field, the same field will be present in database also, SQL database also. So
Okay.
using this field, the system will identify the data will get saved in the database using this property, this field.
So
So
for all
whenever you
the
change the
entries,
company,
this field will be there, right?
yeah, if I change the other company, so
Mhm.
now the data will also get changed. If I open the same table, see. I don't have any record. If I create any record, the data area ID will be
JB.
JB. But previously it was VRPO. Okay, how
Yeah.
system will recognize when we change the companies in front end is, so there is a field called data area ID. This will ensure that whatever we enter the data, right, that will be present according to the particular company. And we have something save data per partition means, so when you are partition, you will be having sub companies, right? Subsidiaries. So when you do the subsidiary for that company, that time also if you want to save, then you will give this property. Okay, and we have something called table group. Table group means same like field group. Like field group means we will be grouping the field based on
Fields.
the data which is storing similar data and similar the field which is belong to the same one we will group. So similar way we have something called table group. Table group, what it will do is, so when we
Hmm.
create the table, right, we have a
Hmm.
full rights for selecting the table group. So based on the data what the table is storing, we will create the table group based on the data. Whether if it is storing the main data, then we will give it as main. Okay, if it is doing, if it is storing some transaction data means where invoice number, account number, where everything will be stored at that time, we will give it as
Transaction.
transaction group, table group. Okay, this worksheet header, worksheet live will come in workflows. There is one more concept called workflow. That time we will select this one. So parameter table means if you are storing any setup related to the AX, then we will call it that table as set parameter table. Okay, based on the data whatever we are giving and what purpose we are creating this table, based on that we will give a table group. Okay, so primary index means we have created the unique index, right, in the table.
Yeah.
Unique index, so that should be the primary index. Primary index means it is a unique index which we create, user created unique index which has been created in the table. We have something called surrogate key. Surrogate key means uh, when we open the form, there some surrogate key is nothing but a system key. Rec ID is there, right? That is a surrogate key, which will be having no meaning. So it will rec ID will generate some ID, right? So which
Hmm.
we cannot remember, and it is just meaningless, like some ID it will generate system. So
Okay.
those are called surrogate keys. Meaningless keys, whatever present in the table, right? Those are called surrogate key. Cluster index means the physical arrangement of records in the database. Yesterday I told you, right? If you randomly enter some data into field of a table, so in
Yeah.
database it will group
Its
or it
middle
will
sum
store
of.
in the physical way. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the alphabetical order. That is called clustered index. So replacement key means, now if I want to replace this some key, some primary key or something with some other key, then we can use this property. Instead of rec ID, if I don't want to display rec ID on the form. Instead of that, I want to give some primary index, but whichever I've created on the form, then I will use replacement key. Replacement key means instead of this key, you display some other key. So instead of the rec ID, surrogate key, you display the primary key which has meaning. Those are called replacement key. And these properties and all, not that much. Modified date time means when you are modifying this table, if you say it as S, Then a field will be created in the table which will store the modified date and time. And if you give this modified by means the user who logged into X, if he is modified that this particular table, then it will be stored in this field. When you say yes, then this particular field will be created in the table. Okay, and created data, when this table has been created, all those things will be the same the same name field means created by name field will be
Okay.
created when you set this property as yes. Okay,
So the
then we
created
have create
time means the
when
created
this
date of
table
this
has,
table.
yeah, when this table today I have created, right? So
Uh,
that system, the server date, whatever you are seeing here, that
uh,
date will come here if you set that
okay.
property.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So it will
and
be
created,
created in fields.
yeah. See, I
Okay.
will give this one. Yes,
So whenever we are entering a new data in the table, so in that field it will show
it
the
will
created time.
capture. Yeah,
Okay.
see here you can see
Yeah.
created date and time.
So this is data creation or table creation.
This is data creation. Whenever
Okay.
you create any data, right? That one.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
it, when you save, who created means who has created and what is the
Uh-huh.
transaction ID. It will
Okay.
automatically create. And we have something called OCC enabled. This OCC is for nothing but optimistic concurrency code. So what this will do is if you say it as yes, okay, then it will block this table from future updates. It will log the
Okay.
table from future updates. If you say it as yes, then if any update comes for this table, then it will be unlocked. Means it will allow you to update the latest or any updates with respect to the table. If you say it as
So
no, then
updates
it
means
will lock that
new
particular
records, or which is what do you mean by updates?
update means update means if Microsoft in the next version or next version
Okay.
in the sense in the 2012 itself, if they release any latest patch like R2 R3
Okay.
we have, right? If they
Uh-huh.
release that one for, they will enable, they will add some other property or some other
Okay.
methods for
Okay.
every table. So if you log this one, then this table will be not getting those updates. That is for
Okay.
that will be done using OCC enabled.
Okay.
Okay, so
So then
we have
everything will be yes only, right? We'll
yeah,
never.
yes only. Yeah, it should be yes only by default.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So we, and the next is developer documentation. What this will do, this will tell us, this is a just a short description where you will tell what this table uh, is all about. Like if you create a student table, then you will tell, okay, this table is a student table which will store the student details, something a
Okay.
description for that particular table.
Okay. Okay.
And we have something called entity relation type, like where the table you have created, right?
Mm-hmm.
This property will tell you this table created, you can use it as entity or relationship. Entity means entity is nothing but a collection of table where you will use that entity for import and export. Like if you want to push the data from AX and pull the data from other Excel or somewhere, then that is
Mm-hmm.
called entity. If you want for that, if you want to use for that purpose, or you just want to create a relation, then you will set this property. Okay. Then extends means if you are the table whatever you created extend some other standard table or some other table, then you will get give that table name in extends property. Okay. Abstract means you cannot use this abstract. If you say this table as abstract table means you cannot implement this table. That means in methods you have no abstract, you have seen classes, abstract classes, all those things. That means abstract class means you will be you cannot implement or you cannot use that abstract method. You cannot add any code into your abstract method. You can only extend that table, extend those classes. The same way, if you set it abstract as, then you cannot use this table anywhere. It will be a standard table like that.
Okay.
So this will be standard node. Instance relation to then support inheritance. Support inheritance is nothing but extends only. Inheritance means if I am using some other functions or some other methods or some other fields from some other table, whatever this table is extending, then I will use
Okay.
support inheritance property. That means whatever table I give it here, right? If I give some student details as a extend table, then I can use the fields present in the table
Table.
in my table, in this
Okay.
particular table. Okay,
Okay.
if I say support inheritance, then I can extend those fields in my table, this table.
Okay.
Okay, valid time state field type means here we have three options. That means when we select date or UTC date time, so two extra fields will be created in this particular table. Valid
Okay.
from and valid to. That means that it will give you the validate from date and to date relation when you say this property as if you select date, only date gets validated. If you select UTC date time, then time and date both will get validated. Okay.
Okay.
See now, if I select none, it will go. This is for validating the date and time. This property.
Okay.
And country region code. Country region codes will tell you, like if you this table should be only used for this particular country. We cannot access this table or we cannot store data for some other country. Then we will give the code of that particular country here. Like for India, IN, for Russia, RU. So if we give that code only for that particular country, this table will be used.
Okay. Like Microsoft will not allow the users to access the table, or we are giving it, we are restricting it.
We can access, but
Mm-hmm.
for if they set it like we have standard table also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can see that one, but that come see in means only for
Okay.
Indian related client this table will be useful, and W means
Okay.
only for that country region that region users this table will be useful. We can see,
Okay.
but the data will be useful for those particular regions.
Okay.
And this country region context fields also. So if you whatever you specify, right, country region, so only for this country, that country you want to make those fields available, then you will select those fields.
Okay.
Okay, and created by is who created this table. Okay,
Okay.
creation date means when they created, at what time they created, who changed this table, everything will be seen here. Okay. These three, this is a model. We created model, right, for in the first
Yeah, yeah.
class.
Mm.
So in which model this table is present, you can see it here. So legacy ID means this is at the SQL level. So we cannot change these values. Model, origin, legacy ID, all these things.
So this
And
created by
this
and
like
all,
ID.
it will take automatically, right?
Yeah,
The user who is creating it, we cannot
yeah.
change.
Hmm. So you understood, right, how
Yeah,
profit is.
yeah,
In this
yeah.
main basic in interviews and all, they will ask uh, table type, then cache lookup, then primary index, cluster index, surrogate key, replacement key, then a table group. Okay, and this title field 1 and title field 2. Okay, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, now you can create a view.
Mm.
Okay, and you can create this license key, but we cannot have our own license code, all those things. Company has to buy the license
Okay.
code. Based on the license code they buy, they can create a configuration key. Just you can go through how to create this views, license code, all those things. Okay, you can take the control.
So yesterday I created one table. That table will be
Yeah,
available.
player table, right?
I created CRA.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I can see.
ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರತರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಫೋನ್.
So I need to go to which table, right?
ಹಲೋ.
Hello?
ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ. ಹಾ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಏನು ನಾನು ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ಆಯ್ತು. ಹ್ಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್. ಅಯ್ಯ ಈ ಅಮ್ಮ ಬರ್ತಾಳೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ, ನೀನ್ ಯಾವಾಗೂ ಅದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಈ ಕಡೆ. ಹ್ಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್. ಅದೇನೋ ನೆನೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದು ಯಾರ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗಳು ಹೈದ್ರಾಬಾದ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಳೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಂಗಿದ್ರುನು ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರು. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ 7 ವರ್ಷ ಬರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದು. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನನ್ಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಮ್ಮ, ನೀನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹಿಂಗೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಆಗೋ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ, ಯಾರನ್ನ ಕಾಯ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ. ಹ್ಮ್ ಯಾರ್ 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 ನೋಡೋದು? Hello,
Yeah.
hello, Magesh. You do like you practice. So if you have any doubt, no, you text me in the WhatsApp. Okay,
Okay.
My screen will be open only, but
Mhm.
I will go. I have some 5 minutes work. I will go and come. You
Okay.
practice. If you have any doubt, you text me in the WhatsApp. I'll come.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, you're able to create.
Yeah, I created, but I think there is no records in the two tables which I created with this one. That cricket table, I didn't get the data.
So all fields from this table you added, right? Temp table. This name, code, first name,
Only,
item name.
yeah, from there only I added. Two items, two fields I added.
From here.
Customer name and item name I added from the second table. And from first table, name and code I added.
Actually, there is no relation between these two tables. Okay, that's why the data is not coming. See, when you are creating a view, right, there should be a
Mm-hmm.
relation. So when related tables, which is having relation in the sense any common field between
Okay.
those two tables, then only you can create a view. Hello?
Yesterday we created
Yes.
crit, crit
On
table
cust
and
table and cust table, cust trans table, or
okay.
our table. In our table, for cust table, there was a relation between customer
Okay.
account.
Uh,
That's why it was done. But here, relation in the sense there should be a common field between the table,
okay.
between the two tables. But here it's
Okay.
not there, no, so that's why it is not coming. So you understood, right, how to create
Yeah,
view.
I understood.
Okay. So you have any doubts?
No,
Hello?
no, no.
Okay. 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 Tomorrow will you be able to join at 7:30
Yeah,
or
tomorrow. Today, like I got stuck
hello?
in traffic, so I couldn't make on.
Okay. You stay in Bangalore or you in Chennai?
No, I stay in Bangalore,
Hello?
in Whitefield area. I stay.
Okay, okay. Tomorrow I'll explain this what is macros, then classes, all those things. Okay.
Okay.
You recorded the session, right?
Yeah, I recorded.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
For more videos, just subscribe to our Gangout channel and click the bell icon to get instant notification.